Claire, and I'm going to show you how to dome some metal suitable for making the top of a toadstool. So the first thing I'm doing here is scribing. So I have a stencil with a circle on it, and I'm placing it over some brass, moving it right near the end to minimise the cutting, and I have a scribe here. So, oops, it's moving slightly. Just holding it firmly, just the one line. Try to scribe it so you don't have multiple lines and it's nice and easy to see. So I have a bench peg here, which I have attached. Now this is a bit low for me, but just so I've got all the equipment in the one spot. And I have a blade already mounted. It's quite a fine blade, the teeth are pointing downwards and outwards. It's quite firm too. So putting it into the bench peg. Oh, it's cutting beautifully. Keeping the blade perpendicular at all times to the metal I'm cutting. The down action is the cutting action, and the upward action is a rest. You're hanging on to the metal here in the middle of the bench peg, not pushing too much pressure that it makes your hand exhausted. Trying to stay on the line as best I can. And going around that. I'm not going to cut the whole thing out. I'll just cut that bit off the corner, and I have a little bit more to cut. But I have already cut one out of nickel silver, and I have annealed it already. So over here, to anneal this, you do need to anneal the metal before you put it into the doming mechanism. I light the flame and I anneal it until the colour dances across it. Now I've already done that, so I'm not going to heat it up again. It's already been annealed. So not touching it with my hands at all. To ensure that it is really cool before I handle it, I need to put it onto a metal plate. So I have a big metal plate here. And I'll just put that on there just to ensure that it is really cool. Okay, so now my doming equipment. Very heavy steel plate. I have a board here. It's locked onto the bench. The doming block is on the bench, and I have some doming punches. Doming punches here. So just always safety first with this. Moving it across to the doming shape. I'll start with a nice big doming punch, and I'm going to need my hammer. You can just work if you want to.
I've got some more blades for you.
Oh, great. I can just go in there. So just taking really slowly now, using my body to hold that bench on. Moving the doming punch around in different positions, gradually changing the shape. This is nickel silver, which is quite a firm metal. And at this point, I think you can see that it's starting to curve, which is amazing. I have got a board here that I can take some of those rough edges off. Sanding board. but I would be now annealing that the second time. So coming over to on the gas. So getting the colour dancing across it. I want to make the top of a mushroom and use my handmade wire like a little toadstool. So that's annealed. I'll just turn that off and let that cool gradually and keep on working on my brass. So you can have a number of things on at the same time. Keep on working on my brass disc. Piercing sawing is fundamental skill in jewellery. Gives you the freedom to cut the shapes of your own design. I'll just cut this extra corner off. So I'm making the most of my time in the jewellery studio. And now picking this up and dropping it back into the doming block and gradually moving the punch around. Different positions. The more gradual the process, giving it some bracing, the better my domed toadstool will be. Just moving around a bit. I'll take that out. You can see it's starting to dome a bit better, but because I'm taking my time, it's certainly starting to look really nice, giving it a little file. Sure, I'm just going to anneal this and then I'll let Hannah also anneal her work. So giving that another anneal. And turning that off. I'll let that cool to the side since other people might want to do some here. So Hannah's elected to continue with the wire, which is really good. And I'm going to let my piece just cool gradually. Circles are actually one of the easiest shapes to cut because there's no corners that you need to navigate. So I'll just leave that. Just loosen the bottom of the blade. And it snapped, unfortunately. Always dangerous, never mind. Okay, so now getting my nickel silver, putting it back in. Looks like I can do a bit more sanding on the side of that and doing a bit more dome. Take that out. I could probably get that even more domed. I mean, that might be domed enough for the top of my mushroom. If I wanted it tighter, I'd move to a smaller hole in the doming block. And let's take it into a smaller space. Wouldn't it be great if it got stuck in there? It suddenly occurred to me that it could well. And there we have a much more domed shape. As you can see, that dish shape. And just taking those little rough edges off. And it's a beautiful shape. I'm sure you can see the actual charm of using the doming block and getting a range of different shapes which can be used for resin. You could put resin in them for like a different bead design if you drilled a hole in them, for putting onto your neck pieces, and also shaping for tops of mushrooms and other sculptural elements that you might like to design. So thanks for your attention. I hope you enjoyed seeing how to work with the doming block. Bye for now.